New Zealand Dairy Farmer is proudly brought to you by Hanson Products, providing Kiwi farmers with water system solutions for over 50 years. New Zealand Dairy Farmer, proudly brought to you by Hanson Products, focuses on the New Zealand dairy farms and the people who run them. Each week we'll provide a unique view of the lives, lifestyles and livelihoods of those at the forefront of our country's biggest export industry. We'll take an in-depth look at the issues associated with the seasonal demands of dairying across New Zealand, captured out on the land with real farmers, real challenges and real stories. This week we've travelled north of Auckland to Tupora, a mainland island in the Kaipara Harbour, to meet Katherine Tucker. Katherine works on her parents Christine and Kevin Tucker's farm, milking 630 cows, and was the only woman regional finalist in last year's Young Farmer of the Year competition. She's also an AI technician, involved in artificial breeding for CRV Ambreed, a large genetics company.
Katherine, can you tell me a bit about how and when that you decided you wanted to be a dairy farmer?
Well, I didn't really decide. Basically, I've grown up with it my whole life, right from birth, out on the farm with mum and on the bikes and stuff, out with dad in the cow shed and the cot and that. But I've always loved the outdoors and being with the cows, and it's always been my thing, so just sort of a natural progression really.
And did you face any opposition when you first started talking about coming back onto the farm and making dairying your career choice?
No, it was all encouraged. The family have been quite happy I'm home, and everyone's always been real helpful and thought it was great that I was here and pursuing something that I enjoy. So I guess there's been the odd person that's a wee bit surprised and sort of like, well, how do you get on being a woman and all that? But you get past that and they see that you can do it, so they're like, oh, okay. I just love the cows, so my hobby, my baby. So we're quite up with the breeding side of the jerseys and involved with trying to promote them and get a bull into national teams and that type of thing. So I've always sort of been interested in the breeding and genetics side and how to get the best out of our cows, and it's just evolved.
You're an AI technician yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, I trained about 3 years ago as an AI technician through the Ambreed. I only do our herd, and we do our yearlings as well for 3 weeks, and so Dad trained about 30 years ago, and he wanted to back off and we had enough of cows, so I decided to help him out, and it made it a bit quicker as well, and it just happened. Originally I always thought it was kind of gross and I was like, oh, I'm not putting a hand up a cow's bum, and I always said I'd never do it, and then one year I just thought, well, it's another job that needs doing on the farm, so you get stuck in and you do it.
And what sort of time commitment is that at mating time when you're involved with AIing the herd here?
The AI part itself is only half an hour at the end of milking. We do it after every milking. So I sit in the cow shed and pick all the cows and cut them out ready, and then we do them straight after milking and they go to the paddock, so it doesn't take very much time at all.
And can you tell me a bit about your empty rate and also the culling side of things, what you're selecting on to get the best out of your herd?
Empty rate's probably, it's usually under 10%. If it's over 10%, we're worried. We have quite a few old cows in the herd because of the breeding and that, we keep them through. But culling wise, we put a lot of emphasis on their type, so they get classified every year for the udder scores and body scores, and a lot's based on that.
And what are the big traits that you're looking for there? Conformation, or good udders, or a good jersey shape?
We like to look for good capacity, so nice big gut fill, and the shape of the udder, so good udder support and a good fore udder trying to narrow in the front teats a little bit because that's a bit of a problem in, well, all dairy cows. But yeah, just to get the ultimate cow really. It takes time though.
And you're using entirely Jersey genetics?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not thinking about moving to Kiwi Cross or anything like that?
No. No, the only other breed we sometimes use is a bit of Angus for beef on ones we don't want to breed from, but yeah, otherwise it's straight Jersey or pedigree.
And what makes Jersey so suitable for this country that you're farming on here at Tapora?
Well, any cow's suitable, really, but we just prefer the Jerseys, and we've always had, like my grandparents had the Jerseys and we've just carried it on, so it's a personal preference rather than for the farm. We could farm Friesians here. We had a few for a while. When we expanded and went bigger, we needed more cows, but we sold them off because we got the pedigree side. But yeah, it's just a personal preference, really. So my parents originally bought 70 hectares when they moved up from Glenbrook, and since then we've expanded 3 times. So now we own 4 farms equivalent, and we're up to 266 hectares that we own, and we lease another 2 runoffs totalling 180 hectares. We're still amalgamating. We've got a bit of fencing work to do to make paddock sizes bigger. So a few of them are still original sizes, so we have a few mobs, but the cow sheds changed twice. They started with the original herringbone 10-a-side cow shed from Lands and Survey days, and then Dad built a 20 bale Ardco rotary, and then when we bought the last farm we basically nearly doubled in size for cow numbers, and so 6 years ago we built a 50 bale internal rotary, which is what we have today.
And how large is the herd now?
This year we milked 700 in the peak, and last year we were about 630.
Coming up after the break, Glenys and Katherine talk about some of the environmental and social challenges in being a young farmer in a location like Tapora.
I think location has its challenges in isolation. Being on a mainland island, the social factor's a bit more difficult.
That's after the break on New Zealand Dairy Farmer, proudly brought to you by Hanson Products, providing Kiwi farmers with water system solutions for over 50 years.